बिल्कुल। नीचे मैंने आपके दिए गाय स्क्रिप्ट का अनुवाद क्लीन नंबर्ड वर्जन लिख दिया है, बिना टाइम स्टैम्प्स के। जैसे आपने कहा था, आप इसे यूज कर सकते हो बिना किसी टाइम या नंबरिंग के परेशानी के। 1. Hello friends, I am Gaurav, and look at this image. This is the largest living creature on Earth, the African elephant. And look at this image. This is the world's largest living creature, the blue whale. In comparison, the African elephant is just its tail. In fact, why the blue whale? This giant jellyfish, you won't believe it, but it's the size of 10 elephants. And this creature is the size of 4 elephants. And finally, look at the length of this oarfish. All these marine creatures are many times larger than the living creatures on land. So clearly, the sea is giving some advantage to the living creatures, which the land creatures are not getting. Did you know around 150 million years ago, the story was completely opposite? At that time, land creatures were much larger than sea creatures. Some were literally as big as a 6-story building. So now the question arises, in the last 150 million years, what has changed on our Earth? That today, the same advantage is not given to land creatures, but to the sea creatures. To find the answer, in the year 2023, Brazilian researcher Philip Silva and his team were studying sea mammals. They took 19 species of sea mammals, each usually more than 10 meters in size. Why sea mammals specifically? Because all mammals on Earth have 9 genes responsible for their growth. Out of these 9, land mammals generally have a combination of 2 genes, but marine mammals had a combination of minimum 4 growth genes. This could explain their large size. Now the question is, why do these mammals need extra genes as soon as they go into the sea? To understand this, we referred to past studies and found something fascinating. A study from 1999 by biologist Gauthier Chapelle analyzed around 1,800 prawn species. Some prawns were 6 times larger than others, and those larger prawns lived in the deep sea. Deep sea water is cold, which holds more dissolved oxygen. This extra oxygen boosts growth and muscle development. Why does oxygen matter? Because fishes breathe through gills. In cold water with more oxygen, gills grow larger, and larger gills require larger bodies. It's a cycle. So, 2 reasons emerge for sea creatures' size. 1. Genetic advantage. 2. Extra oxygen in deep sea. But what about marine mammals, like the blue whale? They don't have gills. They breathe air and dive deep. To address this, Canadian researcher Andy Turco started his own study. He took amphibious fish species, like mangrove rivulis, which can live both on land and in water. He made 2 groups. One stayed in water, the other on land. After 2 weeks, he observed the land group had thicker, stiffer bones because of gravity. But gravity is the same everywhere, right? So what's the difference? Buoyancy. In water, the upward force cancels some of gravity's pull. That's why marine life has more freedom to grow larger. Like how a tennis ball floats and a stone sinks. Average marine animal density is 1075 m3 and seawaters is 1026 m3. So marine animals evolve adaptations to stay afloat. Some use ammonium-rich fluids. Sharks produce squalene in their liver. Teleost fishes use air-filled bladders. These adaptations require special organs, which need more space, leading to larger body sizes. So now we have 3 reasons. 1. Growth-related genes. 2. More dissolved oxygen. 3. Buoyancy advantage in water. But what about the past, 150 million years ago, when land creatures were bigger? Dinosaurs were cold-blooded, so they didn't use energy to stay warm. More CO2 in the air back then meant more plant growth, fueling herbivores, and hence carnivores too. Plus, CO2 trapped heat through the greenhouse effect, keeping the environment warm. ideal for large cold-blooded land creatures. Meanwhile, sea creatures didn't benefit as much due to the cooling effect of water. So, in simple words, every creature is like clay, and nature is the potter that shapes them based on what the environment demands. But just like clay can't handle extreme conditions, organisms also struggle in extreme climates. 200 million years ago, extreme conditions led to a mass extinction. 90% of species vanished, but life found a way. Dinosaurs emerged and ruled for 150 million years. If you're curious about their journey, check out my dinosaur series, from the Triassic, Jurassic, to the Cretaceous era. That's all for today, friends. If this video answered a question you've had, give it a like, and subscribe for more such curious videos. See you next time. Take care. Jai Hind.